Right, sorry about that. Back after a bit of a cough attack. Need to fix that somehow. Hopefully, this the medical cannabis clinic rolls on soon, and I can get this oil and get off, and maybe improve it. But anyway, so yeah. Well, one thing I wanted to talk about, kind of lost my track a little bit, was the Mila, the way I'm handling the Mila situation, because I thought that I've seen some. I don't go on social media that much, but I use Instagram and Twitter for boxing news usually. So there's a boxer on there at the moment who seems to be going through a bit of a tough time with not being allowed to see his daughter, or feud with his ex or whatever. So, but what's being shown is his frustrations, and he's kind of using social media as a platform to really vent, and not a bit of me, but it got me thinking, because that's something that obviously a lot of people go through it. Firstly, loads and loads of people, and then when I see someone react like that, it always reminds me of the time Sam put things into perspective for me a little bit, and I'm still working on it, but it makes sense, and you can apply it, probably apply this to whatever situation yours is in, what you do with it is another thing, because it's one thing listening to something or hearing something. It's another thing really listening. And then acting. So anyway, the story goes roughly along the lines of it's a story about being grateful for what you do have, and like Tom was talking to me the other day about, he's starting to appreciate everything the good things he's done, and he can start seeing the good things instead of the bad things or the negative things. And it's a story of that, really, because let's take my situation is I'm going to be away from Mila for 1 year in September, and that's why my target is to get back by her birthday, which to me is devastating, and I've gone through all that, being away from her, without a plan to get back, let's say, because if you're away, in the army, or excuse me, if the army, or you're working away or something like that, everyone has to do it and make sacrifices. But if you've got a plan to get back, you're probably all right, and you're earning money, so there's a reason and there's a cause. So you're fighting your cause, and it's probably going to be for the better of your daughter. But when you're in my situation, it's slightly different, because I'm a prisoner in my own mind. I think I'm in a totally the wrong environment to thrive for me, I think. Obviously I have some condition or whatever, or maybe I'm just not aware of anything completely closed down, or have been all this time, however you want to call it. So it is far, far more difficult when you get yourself into that situation, like mentally. But nevertheless, what you can do, if anybody has a friend or whatever who's complaining about missing their daughter, I don't think I complain. I share my emotions and my feelings at the moment. This is what I'm trying to do. I'm not the kind of person to vent and have anger against somebody else or whatever, but I'm not being stopped from different situations. But the story is that, look, somebody else, I'm going to be away for her for a year, let's say, and then get back healthy, because that's the goal. Whereas somebody else may have, let's take just a fictitious story of somebody in a 10-year relationship, a bad relationship. They had a child earlier, whatever, the kid's 8, 9, whatever, lived through this terrible relationship of arguing and bickering and, unhappiness, and they've stayed together, but they're together. He sees them every day, but they're all unhappy. That's, be careful what you wish for as well, because, I'm like, I just want to be with Mila, but what if I'm with Mila in the wrong mindset? That wouldn't be a good thing. for anybody. So I don't know. There's loads of different directions you can go into that when you analyse that. But I've taken from it that, do you know what? I did the right thing coming away. I did the right thing for her. In the end, I hope it's proven, but I don't know. I feel like I've done the right thing because although it's taken longer than what I thought, it's still only a year, and I'm gonna go back and now have the rest of my life, I hope, trying to happy and balanced and doing so many words to describe this, but you know, I have an expectation of myself of what I want to share with Mila, what I want her to experience, what I'd like her, how I'd like her to be, and how, and the only way I can achieve that is for me to be happy and to be in that balanced state where I can allow her to live her life, experience these things, and guide her along the way to be the nicest, caring, aware, thoughtful, self-loving, and love of others, and it's such a huge task and a huge responsibility, but it feels one that's just so naturally, and I was about to say easy then, but it's not easy, but it doesn't feel daunting at all. It feels, in this frame of mind, it feels right. It feels like I can do this. I can, because I have had these skills, I feel, in the past, or the knowledge of all this meditation and this kind of way of life. And I don't even know if I'm connected to it now, but I'm trying, and I hope I will, and I hope it lasts this time, and I'm going to try. But yeah, I think with that mindset, this is going to be an enjoyable, pleasurable time. And you talk about doing things that excite you. This excites me. My baby excites me. I can't wait to see what she's interested in, like what sparks her interest, like take her to just a few classes, different stuff, gymnastics. I'd like her to be a tennis nut, but she can do whatever she wants, and it's going to be so fascinating when you see that little click or spark in her eye where she realizes, she's like, I like this, and she can I go, I can't wait. So these are the moments. So if you find yourself complaining, perhaps look at it try and look at things from other angles and perspectives. It's a really difficult thing to do, but when you do, you are like, you know what, I'm all right. Like I said a little while ago, I'm all right down here, rock bottom. This is all right. I'm not really looking forward to many more complications. Thank you. This is nice. However, I do believe that I'm capable of some complications in my life. In fact, I think I've been trained for them, except not knowing the right way to deal with it, perhaps. Anyway, so that's that one. So if you're struggling with that, there's always a silver lining. There's always a way you can switch it. And by the way, if you try to avoid the complaining and instead have some understanding, because you never, I see this guy and I feel for him because I like him as a boxer, and I feel for him because it seems to me like he's stitching himself up. He's just digging and digging and digging. Every message that goes out, it's like, mate, please, no, not again. Instead, right, I have total understanding for so and so. I'm sorry if I've made you feel like that, and I apologise. And try writing messages like that. Could work, but anyway, okay, we'll leave it there. So no, we won't. Sorry, one more. This is where my mum goes. She thinks I'm Columbo. Just one more thing. Oh, one more thing. He says loads of different versions. I googled it. I YouTubed it. Another one about my dad and my mum and dad. I was thinking last night. There's a big irony in this whole situation, right? This communication situation, a massive one, and it's been staring me in the face, and I haven't been able to clock onto it. But yesterday, after a medication session, it kind of went boom, and I think it's a good point. So I'm going to share it here, and then try and talk to him about it later. Excuse me. And it goes something like this. The irony is within the communication. He claims, and they claim that their communication isn't very good, right? We know that. Okay, great. Now, I'm going to challenge it, because in the hospitality industry, which is where they've succeeded and they've found a niche and they've found like their style that made them have a living, have a successful, prolonged business, which is an achievement. And hospitality and the pub industry isn't it based upon communications, basically? Because if you're an arsehole, like he is talking to all of his family, let's be honest, then is anyone going to want to come and drink in that pub? Probably not. And I've spent my years watching him be overly passionate when you're talking about people, and he loves quirky people. He loves people with nose rings and wearing flowery shirts. He's one of them. He's a little bit eccentric in that kind of way, a tiny bit, but I see the passion when he talks to someone who he's interested in. Now here's the key, you see. I think the communication isn't a problem when you're interested in that person, because I often hear conversations with Luana through the kitchen, and it's all fun and daisy there. It's not the attacking and I never said it like that ways of talking when he talks to me. That is, oh really? Oh wow, where are you going next? Oh, that's fascinating. That kind of conversation I'm hearing. So there's completely two different ways to look at that communication, because I believe that if you have any kind of respect, like if he went and spoke to a doctor about this, I guarantee you he wouldn't react the way and say some of the things he says to me when I'm presenting stuff. Like, for example, the stoicism comment, which is a classic, because that was a clear case of his ego not allowing him to be wrong or to admit that he doesn't know something. And I don't know if you remember from the previous video, but I asked him if he knows what stoicism means, and he went, well, yeah, it's just a word, isn't it? Okay, because he said, yeah, of course I do, yeah. So, and he couldn't explain it, so I told him it was like an ancient philosophy, and he said, no, it's not. It's just a word, isn't it? So the fact that he cannot let go, the explanation he's prepared to give me for the meaning of the word stoicism is that it's just a word, right? So this is what I'm dealing with, firstly, and then when I know what it is and try to tell him, which I did in that situation 2 or 3 times. My mum's there, which is great because I had a witness with this one, and we're able to talk about it. So I tried to explain it 2 or 3 times, and he wouldn't believe me. So we had to go and Alexa it, and Alexa basically repeated what I said. So that communication there is clearly somebody who he's talking to, he's got zero respect to, probably doesn't really like. Yes, he loves me. I'm his son, but doesn't really like me. And I know that. I think I know that, and I get that because I don't really like myself. So I know exactly where he's at. I can see it. He talks to me like he would talk to some of the customers that he doesn't like in the pub. Fact. Not just me, Mum, Charlotte, Dean, Oscar. The only one he doesn't is Luana. Dare I say it? But it's true. From my opinion, from my side. I'd love to ask him what he thinks of that. I'd love to ask my mum, and I'd love to ask Charlotte, and because to get their opinion so that it's balanced. I'm not going to run off with this, but that's I can really see that it's not, you're not very good at communication. You're not very good at communicating with people you don't like. Yeah, I think that's it. Maybe not though. Interesting. Anyway, have a think about that later. I'm going to go and try and get through this joint now. So, sorry for the cut off and the coughing fit. I'm going to try and get used to that. And, oops. Have a great day. Mila baby, coming for you. I'm even doing yoga to get and wearing a stupid thing to get my body straight so I can come back and play with you and have energy and jump on bouncy castles and go swimming and I'm going to be fit. The best papa in the world. All right, baby. I love you and we speak soon. So keep your head up, keep your heart strong, keep your mind set. Thank you. Sayonara.